1B, nutrition plan. This is where we get super practical, okay? Let's start off with a nice quote. Authoritarians talk about protocols, but the only valid protocol would be something like perceive, think, act. Absolute classic from Dr. Ray Peat. This is not designed to be a protocol. This is designed to be a template to use to individualize, because there's no one diet for everyone. Anyone who tells you that there's one diet for everyone, you should run as far away from that person as possible, because it's just not true. Your individual experience trumps everything. So you need to apply these principles and these guidelines that we're teaching into your own life, see how they work for you. And over time, you're going to develop the ideal diet for you. It's taken me years to figure out what works for me consistently. It's a moving target. There's a lot of variables when it comes to what you're eating day in and day out. So you want to keep things simple, right? Simple means sustainable. And the goal is to create a sustainable plan that you can maintain for years. So simple concepts, knowing what products to buy, simple recipes, simple meal plan. We're not trying to be a Michelin star chef. The simple things will get you the best results. So in implementing this plan, there's 3 main steps that we're going to take. Step 1 is education. You want to review the material multiple times. You have to watch this video again, watch the previous video again, so that you understand the why and the what of what we're doing. If you don't understand why we're doing what we're doing, it's not going to stick, right? Understanding leads to deeper integration where you can maintain it, and there's a reason why you're doing what you're doing. We also recommend downloading the school app, which is really easy to use, easy reference if you want to have things on your phone. Step 2, identify. So once you have a good understanding of the educational component, now you want to go into the kitchen, identify the culprits in your pantry and your fridge that need to be addressed. We recommend making a laundry list of red flag foods that you need to find substitutes for. And we have lots of resources and lots of guides to help you to find substitutes. There's a simple way of thinking about this: eliminate packages and replace it with whole foods. If you literally do that, you'll be 95% of the way there. And you also want to prioritize the changes that are easiest first and end with what's hardest. An easy change is going to be throwing out toxic foods. If you have canola oil in your pantry, get rid of that. That's instantaneous, simple. Harder is doing something like cooking something that you've never made before, like making bone broth, getting the ingredients, getting the equipment, knowing how to make that. It's a little bit more complicated than just throwing something out that's bad. And then finally, step 3 is eliminating and replacing what you've identified in step 2. So this is where you take action, you get the toxic stuff out, you replace it with the pro-metabolic traditional foods. If there's something in your kitchen that's highly toxic, just get rid of it. But if there's things that are maybe borderline, it's okay, finish it off, and then you can replace it. So you don't have to literally clear out your entire pantry and throw everything away, but at least get the low-hanging fruits out first. What we recommend doing here is making a grocery list. We're gonna provide you with one. And, you know, the grocery list is always changing based off of new information. Companies are changing their product line all the time and ingredients. So we're not going to discuss it in the video, but we will provide a grocery list for you. Take that, individualize it to your own needs, and then do a long grocery run where you discover new products. And what I recommend doing is going on a Saturday or a Sunday, aisle by aisle, and looking at everything, scrutinizing everything. If you're gonna get a mayo, look at every mayo on the shelf, and that way you'll understand what mayo is made out of. And you can do that with every food. You'll learn an immense amount, okay? And then not only grocery stores, which aren't gonna have everything that you need, but going into online, farmers markets are the best, and then specialty shops in your local area, like butcher shops or health food shops or bakeries. So next, let's talk about the pantry detox, looking food group by food group of what we want to avoid and what we want to get. So as a rule of thumb, look at the labels of everything. Everything you consume, anything goes in your mouth, even toothpaste, even chewing gum. You'll be shocked at the ingredients that are in foods, especially ones that look like they should be good, but they're not. You see this all the time with Whole Foods. It's like totally greenwashed, looks clean and organic, and then the ingredients are terrible. So again, the most obvious is anything in a box should be deeply scrutinized. You'll see things like gums, citric acid, dyes, flavorings, starches, anything that is not food should be avoided as a rule. And long ingredient lists are an instant red flag. I don't even care what the ingredients are. If I look at something and there's a huge list that's hard to read, it's out. Okay? So let's start with proteins. Animal proteins are better than plant proteins any day of the week. So as a general guideline, that's what we're looking at. Red, factory farmed animal food. Any animal food that's not organic should be avoided because of many reasons: antibiotics, steroids, hormones, the unethical farming practices of keeping the animals in a confined feeding operation. And by the way, the term cage-free means absolutely nothing. Cage-free means they're not in an individual cage, but they still could be in a huge warehouse, shoulder to shoulder, totally unethical and unclean. Soy should be avoided almost entirely due to the estrogen content, especially as a food, like edamame, which a lot of people don't realize is soy, and tofu and all those things. You should not rely on soy for protein, and you should not eat it. The only thing that we do approve of is limited amounts of tamari. That's traditionally fermented soy sauce for flavoring. That's totally fine. Plant proteins, this is in the yellow category, limit category. Beans, plant protein powders, nuts should be limited or avoided for all the reasons we talked about in the last video. The best of the plant proteins are potatoes and mushrooms. Refined milk, we're going to give that a yellow. That includes low-fat milk and dairy, which often contains synthetic allergenic vitamins that are added, like vitamin A and vitamin D. When you take the fat off the milk, you remove all the fat-soluble vitamins, A, D, E, and K. So refined milk might be okay, but is suspect. Green, animal foods that are naturally and ethically raised, i.e. with love. Grass-fed, grass-finished meat. Wild-caught fish, free-range chicken and eggs, where chickens can go out in the field and peck around and get bugs and things like that. Organic milk. Raw milk is the best of the best. It's how nature intended. It's how people have been consuming milk and dairy for hundreds to thousands of years. Eating food as it's found in nature. Carbs. We want to prioritize the easy to digest carbs over the gluten and the grains. Refined white flour products is in the red. It's hard to digest, it's completely devoid of nutrients, and it's oftentimes enriched with synthetic B vitamins and metals like iron because they take all that out in the refining process. Doesn't make any sense at all. Artificial sweeteners are totally toxic, neurotoxic. Sucralose, sweet and low, aspartame, xylitol, avoid. Gluten and most grains and beans. Yellow, hard to digest, oftentimes have heavy metal contamination. Make sure you look at the Dirty Dozen and get organic and glyphosate free if you can get it. So yellow category. Green category, organic natural sugars. Fruit juice, honey, maple syrup, coconut sugar. While it's not toxic, like many people say, white sugar is super refined. It can increase endotoxin by feeding bacteria because they like to eat the sugar. So it should generally be avoided. It's not because white sugar is inflammatory like everyone says. It's because it can cause metabolic problems. Go with the natural stuff. Easy to digest organic starches, the safe starches, like starchy vegetables. These are like underground root vegetables, potatoes, parsnips, turnips. And then bananas and plantains we put in the starchy vegetable category because they have more starches than sugars. The riper that these foods get, the more natural sugars develop over starches. And then the starchy grains, white rice, oats, oat bran, nixtamalized corn, also called masa harina, sourdough. If you're gonna cook grains, we recommend soaking them overnight with a little vinegar. It's gonna make them more absorbable, okay? Fats and oils. The saturated stable fats are much, much, much better by a million than the unsaturated, unstable, polyunsaturated PUFAs and seed oils. So vegetable oils and seed oils are probably the worst chemical contaminant in our food supply besides straight up like human-made chemicals. Seed oils are so toxic for you. Canola, sunflower, safflower, soy, corn, grapeseed, cottonseed, rice bran oil. Due to the soy and corn-based diets, most modern lard is mostly PUFA. Back in the day, they used to leave lard out in cubes like butter on the counter. You can't do that anymore because the lard is mostly made of PUFA because unlike ruminant animals, like cows that eat grass, their fat is not affected too much by what they're eating. Pigs' diets, they eat a wide variety of things. Their fat is highly susceptible to being changed by what they're consuming, and they're mostly consuming soy and corn. So avoid lard. Nuts and seeds should be limited or avoided, especially due to the high PUFAs and hard to digest. Macadamia nut is the best, mostly monounsaturated fat. Green, saturated, and monounsaturated fats, i.e. stable fats, cooking, coconut oil, and ghee. Dressing, olive oil, butter, also fine. Tallow, palm, sustainable and organic palm. Palm is fine as long as it's organic because conventional palm is basically made from clear-cutting rainforests That's a whole different ball game. But palm oil itself is not toxic. And avocado, that's also fine. Chocolate for dessert. If you are dairy-free and you're avoiding dairy, the best non-dairy alternative is coconut. Not almond milk, not oat milk, coconut. Because of the good fats that coconut has. Vegetables. We want to go with easy to digest, cooked, organic. Avoid the conventional non-organic vegetables. The dirty dozen is the worst offenders. You can look that up. Raw vegetables are yellow category. Most should be cooked, especially cruciferous. Some tolerate salads just fine. I love a salad in the summertime. It's not a hard rule. You have to experience it for yourself. Green, organic, easy to digest vegetables. The best ones: cooked leafy greens, squash, zucchini, peppers, onions, tomatoes, mushrooms. Sauerkraut is also great. It's pre-digested through the fermentation process, contains tons of beneficial bacteria. There's more probiotic in a spoonful of sauerkraut than an entire bottle of most probiotics. Salt, seasoning, and condiments. We want to avoid the refined white salt and the conventional seasonings. Typically have lots of heavy metals, dextrose, and other stabilizers. Avoid. Most condiments and salad dressings are super toxic, mostly made of seed oils, lots of flavorings, white sugar, MSG, etc. Yellow category is organic, natural, store-bought condiments. There's a lot of companies that make really good seed oil-free, natural sweeteners, low additive. They're yellow. They're okay. They're not the best. They're fine. Green, sea salt, and organic seasonings. You want to go for the microplastic-free sea salt. Look for that explicitly. And then homemade condiments. It's very easy to make condiments. It's a simple recipe. You take a fat or an oil like cream, olive oil, egg yolks, etc. Mix it with an acid, vinegar, lemon, etc. A sweetener like honey, and then add herbs and spices to it. You can literally mix it in a little bowl until you get the right consistency. It takes 1 to 2 minutes. Beverages. Flavored, artificial sweetened beverages of all kinds should be out. Sodas, energy drinks, all sorts of toxic stuff is out there. You want to go with the mineralized spring or filtered water. We have an entire module about water, so I'll keep it simple for now. Carbonated water is also fine on occasion, but you do want to be aware that some carbonated water contains PFOAs, which are super highly toxic. So look for good products, mainly in glass bottles. Organic milk, more hydrating than water, and a superfood. Fruit juices, great natural sugars and minerals. The best is fresh, pressed, and sweet. You want to avoid tart fruit juices, particularly orange juice. Some stuff at the grocery store is super tart and sour. They're basically juicing non-ripe oranges. You're going to be missing a lot of the actual natural sweetener there, and it's going to be very hard to digest. So get the sweetest stuff that you can find, and ideally press it yourself. Kombucha, lemon water, green juice, fine. Organic coffee, yerba mate, matcha, herbal teas. Make sure your coffee's mold-free. Most coffee is heavily contaminated with mold. And there's many companies now that sell mold-free coffee. See our resource list. Again, never have caffeine on an empty stomach or when anxious. You want to have it with cream and sugar, fats, sweeteners, or with a meal. Hot chocolate also makes a great beverage. Cacao, coconut oil, and honey, all superfoods, great fats. Let's talk about some cooking and equipment now. You can get a lot of toxicity through the equipment that you're using. So you want to make sure that you're using the right stuff. You want to avoid Teflon and nonstick anything. Super toxic for you. Teflon is made of PFOAs, which are forever chemicals that never break down and are super, super carcinogenic. Aluminum, very neurotoxic, and plastics. Instead, you want to use things that are made of ceramic, magnetic stainless steel. Magnetic stainless steel is low in nickel. Nickel can be toxic, so you can test your stainless steel pan with a magnet. Or glass. Some of the recommended equipment, a ceramic pan. This is the pan that I have. I really enjoy it. You can get glass pots and pans from certain companies. See our resource list. And glass storage containers. They have plastic tops, but the plastic top's not touching the food. And then also having a good knife, a good stove pot, crock pot, and blender can really come in handy. Cooking styles. Avoid microwaving. Leads to radiation in the food. Deep frying with seed oils. Boiling, which leaches the vitamins and minerals that are in the food that you're boiling, and charcoal grilling, which can lead to carcinogenic byproducts from the charcoal. Instead, you want to go with sauteing with good oils, gas grilling, baking, and steaming. Let's talk about sourcing food. See our sample grocery list for explicit recommendations, but in general, for grocery shopping, we recommend that you build an evergreen grocery list. You can use our sample list as a starting point, but what I do with my wife is we have a shared notepad on our phones. And we have all of the foods that we get categorized into different groups with the check marks, like a to-do list. And we check it if we have it, we uncheck it if we need it. So you can pull out your phone, open up your notepad, you know exactly what you need. Super easy. When you go grocery shopping, avoiding the inner aisles. On the outside, you get the dairy, the produce, the animal food, etc. And then, of course, tapping into farmers markets, specialty shops, and online ordering. See our product list for the most updated stuff that we're recommending. You want to seek out the best products over time. You can't get everything from the grocery store. It doesn't have everything that you're going to need. So I know where to get my meat or where to get my eggs or where to get certain products. I order things online. I go to certain shops. That allows me to get the best of the best. And I've worked up to that over time by understanding the industry and identifying the stuff that I like and what works for me. And the same will work for you. Here's a great little cheat sheet for the supermarket that's made by War Kitchen. They make great stuff. Next, let's talk about sample meal ideas. So some general guidelines here. You want to build your meals around protein, carbohydrate, and micronutrient. These are the foods that are going to speed up your metabolism and give you energy. So anytime you eat a meal and a snack, you say, where's the protein, where's the carb, and where are my micronutrients? If you think like that, it's going to steer you in the right direction and you're going to prepare things that are really nutrient dense and really nourishing to you. Number 2, balanced meals, protein, carbs, and fat. That will allow the carbohydrates to be absorbed slowly. You don't want to eat protein by itself. That can be hard on your blood sugar. You don't want to eat carbs by yourself because that can raise your blood sugar without stabilizing it. Having protein, carbs, and fat creates a nice balance, okay? Number 3, keep it simple. You're not trying to do anything crazy here. Complex does not mean healthy. Simple is sustainable, and that will be better for your health long term. Number 4, focusing on nutrient-dense grab-and-go foods. Again, you don't have to prepare exotic dishes to be healthy. If you identify the right products, you can prepare meals in literally 2 minutes that are perfectly healthy for you. And we're going to go over some examples of that. Okay? So I just want to give you guys some general ideas of how you could prepare meals that are nutrient dense, that hit all of the goals that we talked about in the first video, that are in alignment with the principles that we're teaching. So some examples, which you can read through yourself down below: scrambled eggs with some honey, cooked mushrooms for the antiseptic fiber, avocado, sauerkraut, OJ. You can make an oat bran porridge with some collagen, milk, maple, berries, yogurt parfait with collagen, cottage cheese with honey side of fruit, or sourdough toast with toppings. Easy breakfast. Lunch, canned oysters, sliced cheese, fruit, carrot salad. You could prepare that in 5 minutes. Totally nutrient dense, totally health giving. Easy tuna salad with some mayo, little apple cider vinegar, onion, parsley on toast. You could basically do the same with a salmon salad with hard-boiled eggs with cheese, or cottage cheese and fruit, or fruit juice, carrot salad, or a charcuterie spread. Dinner, eating around the world. Eat Italian style, Mexican style, Asian style, etc. The sky's the limit. Ground beef bowl, very easy to make even if you don't cook. Saute up some ground beef, mushrooms, onion, zucchini, tomato over some rice. You could do the same with a fish bowl with parsley, shredded carrots, or do fish tacos with good tortillas. You could do the same thing with the chicken bowl. Just changing up the vegetables that you use, the condiments that you use, the seasonings that you use. The protein starch vegetable plate will get you very far. So plug in a protein, steak, chicken, fish, do a starch, roasted potatoes or rice, add a vegetable, sauteed mushrooms, or something else. Classic and easy one that we love is meat sauce with some ground beef in marinara that you can buy from the store, over pasta or over sweet potatoes or squash. Bunless burger with a side of roasted potatoes, soups and stews, endless combinations, keep it simple, crock pot, bone broth, chicken, rice, vegetables, etc., etc. Great for a meal prep. Snacks, nutrient-dense snacks can build your meals. If you just plug in a few different things, you have a whole meal without any prep. So hard-boiled eggs, cheese, cottage cheese, yogurt, milk, fruit juice, applesauce, meat stick, canned fish. These things take little to no preparation whatsoever. Carrot salad makes a great snack or a great side. Toast with various toppings, and then for dessert, dark chocolate or ice cream, if you could believe it or not. Ice cream is a superfood. Ice cream should be made of cream, honey, egg yolks, sea salt. The best is homemade, but you can find some good commercial ones as well. Let's talk about a step-by-step action plan for actually implementing this. That's in 3 phases that goes from the easiest, simplest to implement, going to harder to implement. Phase 1, eliminate the highest toxicity foods first. Vegetable oils out. Switch them for traditional fats. Soy, packaged foods with long ingredient lists, food chemicals out. Most everything that you should buy should be organic, grass-fed, wild-caught, etc. It's not hard. You just have to buy the right thing. And then eating 3 meals a day with animal protein at each meal. This is so fundamental. It's in phase 1, so you can balance your blood sugar, make sure you're getting enough nutrients, enough protein, enough calories every day. If you just do that, that will have a huge impact on your health if you're not doing it already. Phase 2, now you want to eat only whole foods and avoid almost all packaged products. Refer to our list for all of our favorite products. You want to avoid or limit the hard to digest foods, grains, beans, nuts, seeds, raw vegetables. Try it out, see how it works for you. And then you want to implement superfoods, foods that have super high amounts of nutrients that you're eating for the micronutrient density. Raw milk, oysters, ancestral blend meat, collagen. See our resources for how to source all these things. Phase 3, implementing those bowel cleansers. Raw carrot salad, mushrooms, oat bran. You could implement this right away if you want, especially if your gut needs support. But we'll put that in phase 3. And then also phase 3, meal prepping for the week. You don't have to meal prep out for every single day. In fact, we don't recommend that because it's difficult, unless you're into that, and that's fine. Just prepping 1 or 2 dishes through the week can really help to decrease the friction and get you through the week so that you're able to eat 3 meals a day without pressure. It's definitely helpful to have some prep, but leaning on the nutrient-dense snacks that you prepare a meal together with a combination of meal prep food will help you to skate through the week, no problem. Let's talk about some FAQs. I'm already overwhelmed. Where do I start? Keep it simple, guys. Baby steps. We're trying to implement a plan that you can maintain for years. This is designed to be sustainable. So go slowly, follow the phases, get the toxic stuff out. It's the lowest hanging fruit, get it out, and then start eating 3 meals a day with protein, simple preparations, using the nutrient-dense snacks that we recommend to make your meals. Can I eat the same thing every day? Absolutely. Now, there is a place for variety because you can get lots of different vitamin and mineral profiles from different types of protein, from different fruits, etc. But you can eat the same thing for lunch or the same thing for dinner every day if it tickles your fancy. Knock yourself out. As long as it's nutrient dense and it's following the principles, there's no problem whatsoever. I don't know how to cook, ... You should learn how to cook. It's really hard to be healthy today if you don't know how to cook because you're relying on going out to eat and you're relying on packages. You got to learn how to cook, but keep it simple. Learn how to cook eggs, learn how to cook rice, learn how to make a baked potato, learn how to saute ground beef and saute vegetables. You don't have to do much. With simple things, you can get very far. Can I go out to eat? Yes, there's some landmines you have to look out for. The biggest one being seed oils. And as the filming of this video, Seed Oil Scout is a great resource for finding local restaurants that are free of seed oils. Of course, you can ask. The vast majority of restaurants are going to be using seed oils. So avoiding super greasy food, trying to go to high quality restaurants, following the principles that we have explained to you, even when you order out at restaurants. Can I cheat? You can do whatever you want. This is your life. This is your adventure. What we recommend doing is the 90-10 rule. 90% of the time, you follow the principles. There's 10% wiggle room for going out to eat, for celebrations, for grandma's lasagna when you go over to grandma's house and eat. That's totally fine. If you want to be a normal human being in society, you're going to eat some seed oil sometimes, or else you can't go out to eat. So it's okay for that 10% to not be optimal. As long as you're optimizing the 90%, which is all the food in your kitchen and fridge, the food that you're eating day in and day out throughout the week, you'll be just fine. Thank you guys. We'll see you in the next video.